By the end of this video, we hope you're going to appreciate the benefits that privileged access management and Opus deliver in automation over using a simple password vault and automation. And if you're not using either, I hope you're going to get some insights in how to write code for shift left and reducing business friction. So let's get started. Today, we're going to look at the security aspects of automating a privileged process. So pain, complexity and repetition all drive automation. And we really know that human error is a big factor, whether it's the simple things like data entry or the really thorny issue of giving people too much access to systems that allows them to wander off the specified path. Security in this case falls into two main areas: who can access the tasks in the first place, and internal or external attackers who are trying to extract the credentials that are in the tasks. In our security community, it's absolutely clear that hard-coded credentials are breaches waiting to happen, especially if the code gets committed into GitHub and the like. But in the wider world of IT, there's many domain specialists, people who know all about their environment and get valuable work done every day. But they just don't have security as their first priority. So for these people, they might think that using a simple password vault is the easiest way to separate credentials from code. But here we're going to show you the benefits of integrating with PAM rather than a password vault. And specifically, we're going to relate all this back to the original drivers of automation and how we can neatly abstract the security issues away from our domain specialists. And while we're about it, we're going to go over delegating those processes to achieve the kind of shift left that keeps everyone happy, from the help desk to the sysadmins and the CISOs. So the three main aspects of the security side of automation are assets and inventory, credentials and secrets, permissions and workflow. So with assets and inventory, these are really important because they're directly related to the secrets, and they nearly always belong to a particular type of environment. And of course, we've all heard those dreadful stories of somebody shutting down or changing a production system because they thought they were in the user acceptance test environment. Simple vaults, of course, can suit development and test environments, although these days there seems to be an issue of a forest of these things springing up, one for every development. In this world, the credentials tend to be more static, and because they are development and test systems, they're populated with test data, so the whole risk is low. But once you move things into production, this just isn't good enough anymore. Now, credentials and attributes. At the very least, they should be put behind strong authentication and securely stored. Of course, a simple vault can do this, and as we said before, we're seeing more and more of them in pre-production. But it's bare minimum security. Once systems get released into production, static credentials are just not compliant. And using lookups for attributes is really fragile to change because secrets themselves are regularly updated, user accounts and API keys come and go. Credentials and attributes need to be retrieved automatically, otherwise you're giving yourself even more work. You need to be able to directly correlate a set of secrets to the relevant asset, because it could be Active Directory, it could be a firewall or a phone system. This, of course, is the bread and butter of privileged access management. Permissions and workflow are key to the operations department, but our domain specialists are unlikely to understand the nuances or want their code to be littered with the burdens of these things. So let's talk about using simple password vaults for automation, starting with the benefits. A vault should be a centralized secret store. Perhaps there's too many of them these days, and they've usually got really good authentication. Again, most of them can be used as simple key value stores, allowing you to store the attributes in many formats. This is good, so now a program can get going with the secrets and attributes it needs by sending keys of interest. But that request nearly always needs to authenticate against the vault, which means you'll need a highly privileged token to do that. You can't put the token in the code, you can't put the token in the vault, so you've just hit that classic where do I put the key to the keys problem. At this stage, you could miss delivering the audit trail. A simple vault can almost simulate an asset inventory, especially if you've got it well organised. You could have something like a corporate PBX object that contains attributes for IP address, port, username and password, and now your program can gather everything it needs and make the connection, provided the attribute values are correct. Because with vaults, you're just simulating an asset inventory. It's not guaranteed to work, but we're going to come back to that. Opus, of course, can support various credential vaults, but naturally we think it's best when it's working with our PXM appliance. And here's why. First, the key to the keys problem disappears altogether. When an Opus task requests a secret, it's the Opus vault proxy that handles it. The task never needs the key to the vault itself. It just asks for some keys and the whole thing is audited by Opus. So no more programs with hard-coded secrets, ever. The PXM appliance contains users, assets, inventories and secrets. So rather than your task saying, give me the username key from the Jenkins bot secret which lives in the dev.ci object, it can say, give me the control account for the asset with the host name dev.ci. Now this cuts down the knowledge you need by 2/3. All of the connection values and attributes from the PXM appliance have passed the provisioning process. So at this point, we know they're valid and we know they work. Secrets, of course, can be refreshed in the background and your task code never changes. In automation, it's really helpful if the authentication services of the device and the user are different, or at least in different operating environments. Otherwise, you've just granted access and privileges to the user that you were trying to keep away from the device in the first place. The provisioned device is an asset in an inventory and it can be searched for and it can provide attributes and context. PAM solutions have policies. In our case, the PXM platform uses profile membership. With PAM, an automated task can query for both the device and the user. So now we can provide a list of devices that are appropriate for testers in UAT or senior help desk operators in production. This, of course, reduces the chance that the wrong process will be issued against the wrong system. PAM, of course, helps with workflow as well. Loads of useful examples, but let's consider something simple, like a task that retrieves customer orders and displays them to an operator. The operator can then help customers with what they've ordered and when it's likely to get delivered. But what happens if the customer needs a change or a more expensive alternative is available within a decent time frame for that customer? We might want this task to raise a ticket or get escalated to a more senior operator who is authorised to deal with discounts. So now this is important because the same task can do different things based on the permissions of the current user and where it is in the workflow. Using a vault could be useful at the development stage. However, it produces a task that's fit for function, not a process that's fit for purpose. Using Opus will allow your domain specialists to do what they do best, but the outcome will be much better. Processes that avoid unnecessary data entry on all the classic human errors. Tasks and processes that can be delegated to the right parts of the business are more usefully managed by the business for the business. Of course, workflow speeds everything up, but more importantly, it puts the right decisions in the right places, since workflow can control what a task does. No incident ticket, no access. Opus can be used with a wide range of password vaults and PAM systems, and naturally it's best when it's used with our PXM platform. If you'd like to know more, please get in touch.